Venom sequel kills the box office with a $90 million opening weekend. Yes, MCU fans, Venom Let There Be Carnage is the highest grossing domestic, at this point, domestic opening for a movie released during the pandemic. And that goes for Black Widow and Shang-Chi. It beat both of them out. Let's get into this article. All right, after being projected to debut to a nice 60 million domestic box office, Venom Let There Be Carnage absolutely blew the doors off the number with a $90 million opening, exceeding projections by 50%. The sequel to the 2018 film started off with a great take on Thursday night previews and didn't slow down one bit and knocked Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings out of the top spot after 4 strong weeks. October comes roaring in. Venom Let There Be Carnage tops the weekend with 90 million. That's it. The biggest opening weekend for a film in the US since 2019, bigger than the first Venom movie, which was 80 million. The second biggest opening ever in October, behind Joker's 96 million. As noted above, Let There Be Carnage outdid its predecessor by $10 million and did so in the midst of a pandemic. Speaking of the pandy, the $90 million also marks the highest grossing opening weekend of a film during the ongoing health crisis. It says here, the first film was a hit with fans, less so with critics, so it's no surprise to see audiences out in droves to see it, especially with it getting higher marks than its predecessor by many of those same talking heads. The film has also generated substantial buzz around its mid-credit scene, which appears to bring Tom Hardy Venom into the MCU in face-to-face, kind of, with Tom Holland's Peter Parker. Given the huge success the film had, it's likely the studio won't wait too long to greenlight a third film and make good on one promise of that scene. And that is the article for that. And that mid-credit scene, I have seen it. I won't talk about it here because it's still spoilers, but there's a lot to discuss within that scene, and just even with this movie in general and what it's been able to accomplish. I think the marketing from Sony has really, if not exceeded, I think what Disney has done. It's almost like they took the points they were kind of weak at before, and so working with Marvel Studios and Disney, I think they've learned some things. I think that they did this correctly. Like, they pushed it up just to make sure, they didn't want to get caught by anything that could happen a little bit later. So they moved it up. And then on the top of moving it up, they let people screen the movie and see it. And then specifically told people not to say anything about the end credit scene, which created a big buzz around the movie and the film. Now, the end credit scene doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the film itself, but if you like the first Venom movie, I think you'll like this. It's all about the tone, and the tone of the film. They definitely have a direction and a tone they want to go with the 3 films. Andy Serkis stepped in for the original director, and this is like his breakout hit. And it doesn't surprise me because Andy Serkis has a relationship with Marvel Studios, so I think there's definitely a line of communication there that's probably a little easier than for maybe some others, to where he can do what he needs to do, and this is all coming off of the fact that we know that Disney and Sony have reached some sort of agreement. No one knows the details of that agreement. We don't know what was reached back in 2019 after Far From Home came out, but if this is to be believed, what Sony has been doing since that point with the Morbius trailer and now with Venom, it sounds like we got one Marvel universe, guys. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, to the extent that Sony will be able to play in the Marvel Studios sandbox and vice versa, we don't know. We still don't know for sure if we're getting 3 more Tom Holland Spider-Man films under Marvel Studios. We know he's going to be now in the Sony films. And we don't know exactly how that's going to play out. And shout out to Tom Holland for that, because I don't think people realize, like, with Sony's film plans and what they have coming up, and then if he has to still do his Spider-Man Marvel Studio movies, he's going to be playing that character every day for the next 10 years. Like, literally. Like, if they do a movie every 2 years, to complete his trilogy. That'll be 6 years of that, and then he's got to do, Sinister Six and another Venom movie, and potentially, Kraven the Hunter movie, and will he pop up in Morbius? It's like, we don't know the extent of how Sony wants to use him, but they have a lot of films coming out within the next 5 years at least, and he's gonna be a very busy man. So, but that's the box office is what it is, man. They knocked it out of the park with the marketing on this. It'll be interesting to see how it holds up in coming weeks, to see if it kind of falls off, or if it kind of still keeps going and rides until Eternals. And if that happens, I would tell Hollywood to be on the lookout, because between Sony and Disney, they're gonna dominate the whole year and slate of films, because you got to think Sony's got so many projects coming up. They can almost put out 2 to 3 projects a year on top of the Marvel Studios 4, and then each month you're basically going to be getting a Marvel property at the theater, and it's just like there's no room for nobody else. So let me know down in the comment section if you've seen the movie, if you've seen Venom, and if so, if you liked it, how you felt about it or whatnot, and how excited are you for the future of just the Marvel Universe in general, going forward, knowing what's going on with the end credits scene. So let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel on that. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.